Welcome to ContenderCast, a global leadership and consumer industries entrepreneurship podcast centered on shining a light on bright ideas. And now, here's your host, Justin Hahnemann.
Thanks for listening, thanks for tuning in, thanks for downloading. It's Justin Hahnemann on the ContenderCast. We're shining a light on bright ideas. Today, a product probably most of you have seen on TV, heard about, seen in stores. You're going to be so excited. Shark Tank. I mean, I'm just so fired up today for the guys that are on. We're talking to the Comfy Bros. We're talking about the Comfy. That's right. Brian and Michael Speciale are on. Guys, it's so great to have you here.
Thanks, Justin. Hey, Justin. Thanks for the opportunity.
Perfect. You both talked at the same time, just like we just said would happen. So glad you guys are here. I was so excited to meet you. I told you beforehand, man, so much fun learning about you guys and watching the videos on Shark Tank and just reading your story. And I can't wait to unpack that for our audience today. Let's do this, though. You started the company in 2017. How about each of you share a little bit about your background before launching this business? And we'll start with Michael.
Sure. Yeah. Well, hey, Justin, great to be on. And yeah, it's funny. I think you just said that you couldn't find much information on me on LinkedIn or anything.
I tried, man. I looked.
Because before starting the Comfy with my brother in 2017, coming up with the idea and pushing this through and getting on Shark Tank and everything. For the previous 10 years, I actually had my own swimming pool cleaning and maintenance business.
Dude,
so an entrepreneur
awesome.
At heart. But, just locally in the Phoenix area, there's, 100,000 pools in Phoenix at least, probably. So plenty of business there and just been working with a team of guys and all that, managing that and, just going through life and making a good living, paying the bills and all that. And then I was just real quick, I was going through a really bad divorce with, and my brother, he took me in.
Wow.
So he takes me in and I was down in the dumps, and this is kind of the story of how the Comfy idea came about. And I walk out one morning in the living room, staying at my brother's house. I look over, and on the couch sitting there is my brother's son, 7 years old. His name's Saxon, sitting on the couch, and he's wearing one of my brother's old hoodies. My brother's a pretty big guy, and it just absolutely swallows him up. And it's a 7-year-old. You can just imagine him sitting in a grown-up adult man's hoodie. His knees are pulled in on the couch.
Right.
He's got his arms pulled in. He's got the hood up. And, he's just kind of peeking through, and he's locked eyes with him. Like, wow, Saxon, you just look so warm and comfy, and he's kind of look over my big bro. I'm like, man, wouldn't everyone want to feel like that? Think they make these for adults, something like that. And there was a blanket laying over the back of the couch. It's got the Sherpa lining and the fleece on it. And we're like, yeah, we could make it out of that maybe. And that's kind of where that was the light bulb moment, kind of where the Comfy was born. And I can get into more of the story later after Brian gets his background a little bit. But yeah.
I love it. Thank you. That's so awesome. All right. Over to you, Brian.
As you can tell, my brother's very impatient. He doesn't want to wait for background stories. He just wants to jump
the product
right into it. And that's basically, hey, Justin, that's basically how this entire ride has been. I mean, that is in a microcosm right there.
Love it.
Go.
Yeah. My background is in TV and video production. I was a TV news anchor, sports anchor, producer, editor. And then I left and started my own production company. Was doing firearms related shows, believe it or not. Firearms and blankets, right? Talk about opposite sides of the spectrum.
Right.
Yeah, right. So I was doing that and also trying to break into the world of, the history channels and the discovery channels and that kind of thing. So it's a struggle, it's a grind, it's tough. It's a tough world out there.
No doubt.
And that's when Michael had that light bulb moment. We just kind of were off and running from there in 2017. So yeah, I'm sure never did Michael expect to go from a pool cleaning business to the third best-selling product in Shark Tank history in 4 years.
Crazy.
Nor did I expect to go from TV producing to the third best-selling product in Shark Tank history in 4 years. But here we are.
Unbelievable. I mean, for those listening, this is only 3 years ago. I mean, oh my God, unbelievable. So it's one thing to say, hey, we should make one of those. And, I get it. Go. Let's just go make it. And then we're going to sell it. But I mean, truly, how did you go from that could be a cool idea to actually mocking up something or designing something or was it not that complicated? What did that look like at first?
Go for it, bro.
Okay. Yeah. It was one of those things where when Michael had the light bulb moment, and then we started talking about it, started kind of unpacking it, breaking down the idea, talking about what we could do. It seemed like a great idea at the moment, and it was one of those things where we just kind of looked at each other, and it's like almost one of those things too good to be true, right? It's like, dude, this makes so much sense. We're going to have this wearable blanket that's the most comfortable thing you've ever put on your body. We're going to make it one size fits all so that it fits the entirety of the population. So it's truly a product that's for everyone in the world, men, women, children, any shape, any size, any nationality. It doesn't matter with the comfy. And so we knew someone had to have done something like that. Surely, because it's the most obvious idea in the world. And a couple of single dads at the time living in Phoenix, freaking Arizona, where it's 115 degrees outside almost every single day of the summer. We're going to make a comfy in Phoenix. Yeah, we're going to make the world's first truly wearable blanket, right? Well, that was the mission, and that's what we decided to. We talked about it for a couple of weeks, and then we're like, you know what? Let's just go for it. Piled all our pennies together and found a prototype maker here in Mesa, Arizona, believe it or not, a place called Protoso, and he made the first prototype. Came out pretty good. Made a couple of revisions to it, sent it back, and by the second one, it's like, holy crap, this is it, man! This thing's amazing. It's even more amazing than we imagined. Wow. So from there, after we had the prototype made, then it became time to be like, okay, how are we going to get this out to the world? And that, of course, is where Shark Tank comes in.
So, and you guys, you went to Shark Tank without really having a product in market yet, right? So at that point, when you had a prototype, you went to Shark Tank versus like, hey, we already had it in a couple stores, and then we went. Like, what did that look like?
Not only did we not have a prototype, Michael, we didn't have a clue, did we?
We had no clue, and we were kind of told along the way by Shark Tank, the producers and everything, trying to get on the show, that we didn't have much of a clue, and that we were too early, and we were told multiple times to come back next year, and we just kept pushing. So you have to understand this idea came in February 20th of 2017, right? And we were standing in front of the Sharks taping the show in September of 2017.
Without a real product, without like manufacturing.
That's how it happened fast. It happened so fast, but that's how Brian and I have ran this business from the beginning. We push. And you don't know what you don't know. Right. So you're told no, you don't know. It's like, why not? Why can't it be done? Why not? They said, well, there's no way you can get this product, by the holidays of 2017. We're like, why not? We're gonna go source it, figure it out, get some factories going, get a container over here. Like, why not? Right. We're just pushing. They were telling us a year and a half or so, but we just keep pushing and pushing. So that's what we did with Shark Tank. We were told no almost the entire time by the Shark Tank staff. They loved our pitch when we went up to Denver and pitched for the show. But even after that, you still have to go through a lot of paperwork and a lot of lawyers and everything else to finally get on the show. And we were told all the way up until basically the day before taping. And we still persevered and got on the show at that point, we ended up having, I think, 10 prototypes total in hand. We gave 5 of those away to the Sharks.
Right. So, here you can see what they're like. There's only 5 of them.
Standing in front of the Sharks. No clue. 10 prototypes.
How did you figure out like how much money to ask for then? Like, how did you come up with the 20% for, thousands of dollars? Like, how did you
pulled it out of the proverbial where?
Seriously.
Sounds good.
No way.
That sounds good. That sounds like something. We wanted to come up with a number, and we settled on $50,000. Right. For 20% is what we were going to go for, right? Yeah. And it was a very arbitrary number. It was just random, but it was something we wanted. We wanted a deal. A lot of people go on there just for the exposure. We wanted a deal, so we wanted something that maybe one of the Sharks would see it and be like, okay, let's take a flyer because that's 50 grand is nothing to me. So let's take a chance. Turns out Barbara did that, and it was the smartest investment she's ever made.
That's okay. So. All right. So very, very cool. Let's break this down just for a moment. So just give our audience a little bit of background on the Shark Tank process. And, you described some of it, but that part leading up to you're actually selected to go on the show, like describe just some of the process.
Yeah, it was a long process, lots of paperwork, lots of phone calls. We auditioned in May of 2017 in Denver. One thing that we did differently, and a lot of our past experiences, in life came back to really make this thing come to fruition. One of those was my past as a TV producer, recent past at that time. So I, have a pretty good idea of what a producer is going to be looking for. And so the number one thing, in life, you've got to make yourself memorable. You've got to do something that's memorable that someone's going to be like, oh my God, I remember that. Right. So we decided to sing a Christmas carol with specialized lyrics to the comfy. 'Tis the season of the comfy, fa la 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 la. Right. We're not singers. We're terrible. But that was going to be part of the allure. That was going to be part of the charm of the whole thing. It's just a couple of, 40 something idiot brothers up there singing a song on national TV in front of the Sharks. But that was our hook. That was our catch. And so we did that in Denver.
Bro, yeah.
And that was the one thing where they loved us.
And they thought that was funny or crafty.
Bro, it was also our goal. Remember with the Christmas song. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
To get on the
it was also our goal with our
show.
Christmas song to get onto the holiday episode of Shark Tank. We knew there was one, and that was our goal from the beginning when Brian came up with this idea to sing this jingle. So go ahead, bro.
And guess what? Ultimately, we pulled it off. We got on the Christmas
funny.
show after
Of course we did.
They did. Michael alluded to it. They told us no every step of the way. They told us no. Our producer went dark on us a month before.
Wow.
And then we finally get a hold of her, and she's like, you know what, guys? They love you, but you're too new. You don't have any sales.
Right.
Come back next year. And we're like, you know what? Heck with that. We don't know if Shark Tank's going to be back next year.
Who knows?
We don't, we've come this far. So if we go down, we're going to go down swinging. We have our pity parties for a couple minutes, and then we figure out how to adjust. And so we went. Again, I took my video camera, went over to Michael's house. We threw that night after that. We got off the phone with the producer and said, "Screw that, we're going down swinging." And we did the top 5 reasons why you cannot cut the comfy from Shark Tank. The top 5 reasons, and we had a blast with it. All right. And I went home and I edited that together, and we shot that off to the show. We shot that off to our producer that night. The next morning, she's like, "You know what? I took this. I'm glad you guys did this. I took this into the executive producer, the head honcho's office, and showed it to him. Be in LA next week."
Oh my gosh! All right. So, do you remember what the top 5 reasons were?
Man.
What were they? You set me up for that one. You set me up for that one.
I don't remember. I remember.
We need to release that video at some point. I mean, it's that good.
That would be awesome.
That's what got us on Shark Tank. We were cut. Yeah. Absolutely.
People love.
I think one of the reasons was American Idol was returning at that time to ABC.
Yep.
And we knew we were going to be singers, and if Shark Tank didn't take us, American Idol surely was going to. So they better not miss their opportunity.
That was a true audition, bro. You're right. That was a backup plan.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
One thing, one of my favorite phrases is the answer is always no unless you ask, right? I mean, like you can be persistent, and look how it paid off for you guys. Okay, so great. So fast forward now. Hey, we're on Shark Tank, and then Barbara, right, says yes. Then what happens? Like, because again, you got 5 prototypes left in your hand. Like, how do you go from that to, okay, we have a shark, we need to now go sell stuff that we don't have yet?
Well, during the whole process that we were trying to get on Shark Tank, a lot of behind the scenes stuff obviously was sourcing.
Got it.
With different factories. I think we sourced 6 different factories, trying to get that done. So we were we were full steam ahead, and we were confident enough that we were going to get a deal. I mean, it's call it cocky, whatever you want, but I believe 99% that we were going to get a deal. And I think you absolutely have to have that mindset going into, if not 100%. Like, this is going to happen. If it didn't happen, we would have figured it out. We would have had our little pity party if we didn't get the deal,
right? And
we would have kept pushing forward. But, it was just that confidence. And I think when we got in front of Barbara, that was part of it. She loved us. She fell in love with us. She thought we were great salespeople, but we were real, true to ourselves. Yes, maybe a little cocky and arrogant, but we're like, we're going to do this. And it wasn't that hard standing in front of them because they're asking these questions.
Sure.
What are your sales? Nothing. You have a website? No. What's your customer acquisition cost? No clue.
Not
sure. They're just kind of laughing at us. It's like, you guys just answer honestly. It's like, we're not going to bullshit you, right? This is who we are. Right. And so after we got the deal with Barbara, then it takes a few months, more paperwork to end up finalizing the deal and all that. But we were pushing ahead the entire time because it was going to launch. We were going to launch December 3rd. Of 2017 is when the Shark Tank episode, that holiday episode, aired.
Got it.
And our absolute goal was to have product in our warehouse ready to ship out that night. That was always our goal from the beginning. We almost made it. Didn't end up getting the product all the way into the warehouse until mid-January, I'd say, to start shipping out to customers. But we let the customers know up front ahead of time when we knew they were coming to the website. When we were launching on Shark Tank that night, they started buying the product, but we let them know up front, like, this is not going to ship out.
It's not going to ship out
60 days, honestly.
Right.
And but people still started buying it. They love the product. They liked the idea. It was an affordable, $40 price point. And
was it word of
we
mouth,
did not
though?
Get caught up.
How did that happen, though? Was it word of
well,
mouth?
It started. It was word. Yeah, I'll let Brian go into that. With we actually did go viral, but at the beginning you have this huge Shark Tank bump, and we sold a lot of product early on. Even with people, we didn't get caught up on orders like where people can order it and we ship it out the next day, basically, until May of 2018. That's how long it took to get caught up. We sold through our first container, and then boom, we knew we had a hit. We started ordering more containers. So they're on the water. People are literally ordering these things, waiting 4 months. It's not even made yet. They're waiting for this product.
Jeez.
So it was a huge Shark Tank bump. And then after the Shark Tank bump, it started to go down, in late December. And then I'll let Brian take it from there. When we went viral.
We just had a viral video, and suddenly we'd sold into 66 countries. And,
oh my gosh.
And it was bonkers, and it's been breakneck ever since.
And how about retail? So talk about channels, like selling to retailers or through retailers versus online.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's another one that's we always like to say that you stand up there on Shark Tank, and it's the most sacred ground in all of entrepreneurship. I mean, it truly is when you're standing there looking at these titans of entrepreneurship. But you also have to remember that they don't know everything.
Right.
And just because they tell you to do something, it doesn't mean it's necessarily the right path. All of them, including Barbara, after we had to deal with her, was like, no, stay out of retail. Retail's a nightmare. It's a disaster. You guys just want to be direct to consumer, maybe do some Amazon, but stay out of retail.
Sure.
Michael and I, when we were, I think it was the first trip we were in New York City visiting Barb back in the days of sharing hotel rooms and all that good stuff, Michael.
Before you each had your own hotel room. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Reach a certain amount of
still the best,
still
the best moment, bro. Still the best moment of this whole experience, bro. When you told me, you're like, bro, we're going to New York this time. We're getting separate rooms.
Did that really happen?
That was like 2 years in.
Oh
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We each will have our own room.
But we were sitting there in that hotel room. So thank goodness we were in that hotel room, because it's an endless sounding board.
Totally.
It's like, what,
keep
man?
talking. Absolutely.
I'm a Costco power user.
I love Costco.
This product belongs in freaking Costco. It just belongs there. It's the perfect Costco product.
Let's go.
So we need to figure out a way to make this happen. And so ultimately we did. The Sharks told us to stay the heck out of retail. We swam in the other direction, and suddenly we were in Costco and Sam's.
Oh my gosh!
Selling out left and right on QVC and Bed Bath and Beyond and Target, and just everywhere you can imagine. And that's where it is today. It's about half of our business now. So
it's amazing.
I think it was the right call.
So how did that happen though? So because did you already have the contacts in retail, or did you have enough brand recognition that they the buyer would take your call? Like, what did that look like at
it's
that
probably
point?
It's probably the place where Barbara came in the most handy, because she had a connection with someone who ultimately became our first CEO.
Oh wow!
Cracker Jack salesperson who had all those retail relationships, and she was a real go-getter like Michael and I are, and she went down and banged on doors and really made that happen in the beginning. Yeah.
It's interesting. Okay. So here we are, 2021 today, when we're recording this. So talk about where the business is now. Like, what's next? Like, what are the keys to keeping this thing growing and going? And what does it look like?
I swear, I still say, we've been saying this for years, bro. Like, I still feel like we're just getting started.
Right.
With this thing.
Feels early
just getting
days
the company out to the world. You think everybody has heard about the company. I was in a clothing store the other day where they should be selling comfies, and I'm talking to the associate, head manager, and they've never even heard of the company. So it's just like, it just tells you, it's like, there's so much more work we need to do and get them out there. By the end of this year, we'll ship our 10 millionth comfy, in the first 4 years. So,
Jeez,
these things are obviously an enormous hit. One size for everyone. I'm telling you, that's the key to this thing. There's no sizing. You don't have to worry about it. You just buy it. You pick your color, pick your pattern.
So funny,
and you're good to go. So it's just, we're going to continue pushing forward. We're going to get licensing deals coming up with the major sports companies.
Oh,
and,
very cool.
Movies and things like that. So we're just going to keep pushing it, because it's endless on where this product can go and where it can be sold and the uses that it has. So we're going to keep pushing forward. Like Brian said, we're the third highest selling product in Shark Tank history that got a deal. We're by far Barber's #1 company of all time, and we are so competitive. We're going to keep pushing until we're #1 on those lists as well.
I love
and
it.
people like to,
Whatever
and I know there's the doubters out there, the naysayers. There always are. People
any
are like, hey,
any company though, man. Doesn't matter who you work for.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. It's a novelty.
Right.
It's a novelty. It's something it's a joke. Blah blah. Blah. Yeah. Okay. Well, guess what, guys?
10 million units.
65,000 reviews on Amazon at 4.8 stars, which makes us, one of the most highest rated products with that volume of reviews on the entire platform, because we have a product that is not a novelty. It's super high quality, which is our point of difference with everything that we do. High quality, something that will last, and something that is truly, when you put it on, you might laugh a little bit. Ha 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 ha.
Right.
It's funny because it's like this gigantic, oversized wearable blanket, right? And then you're like, wait a second. This is the most comfortable thing I've ever had on my body, and now everyone has to know about it, and I have to buy one for everyone that I know. And so you go from having the ha-ha moment to having the aha moment, and that's what this product is. It's not a novelty; it is a lifestyle.
Justin, just real quick, a lot of people compare us. First thing a lot of people think of is a Snuggie. Right? And it's like, give me a freaking break. This thing
not
like
even close.
It's not even close.
This is somewhat stylish. This has got a little style to it. You know what I mean?
It's just not, Snuggie's not functional at all. And that's not where we had the idea or anything. It had nothing to do with it. You put a Snuggie on, you stand up, you start walking, you trip over the blanket and fall on your face. So just a joke. This is a truly wearable blanket. It is massive. You're sitting on the couch, you need to go do something, you stand up and you take your warmth with you. That is what's so cool about this product. It never has to come off. You never have to leave your blanket behind. But it's indoors, outdoors, movie theaters, kids' sporting events, full coverage and everything. So we say it. It's like the perfect product. We always have believed that. And it's the perfect gift. It's absolutely for everyone. We all have those people you don't know who to buy for. Right? It's just
totally.
Is it. It's the perfect gift. It really is. So
yeah, I was looking earlier, and when I was doing my research on you guys, I saw it on Amazon. I'm like, oh wow, it's Amazon's Choice for oversized hoodies, and then I was like, wait, 64,000 reviews? Like, holy jeez. Right? And you're right. Yeah. It's 4.8, 64,570 reviews. I mean, geez, that's amazing. I mean, seriously.
Sorry, I exagerated.
I love the color. I know you were a little short. You looked at it yesterday instead of today.
We're salespeople, right? Yeah.
And I love the colors. This is cool. So
hey, we're only at 4.8, by the way, because we had some shipping issues early on. By the way,
yeah, right.
5, damn it.
That's okay.
Freaking true.
Oh, that's rough. I love it. I love to ask our guests, what some of the biggest advice, and I think I already know yours, but it is that you would offer to our audience. We have a lot of entrepreneurs and people that want to be, right? I want to have the next comfy, I'll call it, out there. Why don't we start with you, Brian? What, one or two things would you share just from the couple years you guys have been doing this that would be good advice for our listeners?
Yeah, I think a lot of people get stuck and or never get started, right? Because there's so much fear. You lay everything on the line. And it's understandable because not everything is going to work out. But if you've got the belief in something, don't take no for an answer. It's a cliche, but with us, it's the power of cluelessness. That's what I really believe. It's the power of being clueless. There is enormous power in that statement. And that is because we were told, no, you're crazy. You can't do it this fast. It's going to take a year and a half to get this out, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, why? Why? That doesn't make any sense to us. So we didn't know any better. And so we busted our asses and pushed everything forward at the speed that we wanted to get it done at, not at the speed of what a textbook or a business class,
right,
or a shark or whoever is going to tell you. It's the power of BS, being naive.
Corporate BS.
Because we didn't know what we didn't know. We were able to push it forward, and now we have a $100 million a year business.
Unbelievable.
And it's a lot of it is because of that. In just 4 years, we've gotten to that point because we were clueless, because we were naive. So why not you? Why not somebody else? Why? We're nothing special. We just had an idea. We got off the couch and we did something about it. And that is something that absolutely anybody out there listening right now can do the same thing we did. It's nothing special. You have the sum of human knowledge in your pocket. We all do. Google, the internet. Things are different. The barrier to entry is so much less than it has been in even 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? There's really no excuses anymore. So if you've got something, you believe in it, go for it. Don't let anybody tell you no. Be clueless. It's okay to be clueless. Feel the power that we did.
I could just stop the podcast now, and that would be a great way to end it, but not quite yet. That is such awesome advice. Michael, over to you. That's a hard act to follow. I mean, what
tough
advice
to follow, but I'm used to it with my bro,
right.
with his TV background and everything else. So, he's very good at this stuff. But he did mention something. He gave a little quote in there, the "why not you?" And those three words are very important to Brian and I. And they actually came from our mother, who would always say that to us, growing up and even getting into this business and everything else. She always, whether it's grades, whatever it may be in life, keep pushing forward. She just looks at you, she goes, well, why not you? Why can't you get the A's in the class? Why can't you do this? Why not you guys? Why, you want to invent this thing? She's like, yeah, why can't you do that? Why not you? And so we always use those words, and you can use it for anything in life, just to keep pushing forward. Why does that have to be the next guy that comes up with this? How many of us have probably had some ideas, and then a year or two later you see it and you're like, man, I had that idea. Well, you need to do it. You need to go for it. If you think it's that good and you absolutely believe in it, when we had this light bulb moment, it's like we just knew it and we were going to go for it. And it was incredible doing it with your brother. That was a really big part of this as well. If it was just me standing there, and I didn't have somebody to relay that to at that moment, it may not have gone anywhere. I always have ideas popping in my head. I think a lot of us do. But it's a matter of taking that action and doing it with your brother, and us believing in it so much and pushing each other, whether it's down times or up times, just continuing to move forward and grow this thing. And that's another reason why I say we're just getting started. And why not us?
I love it.
Let's keep it going.
Before we go, you mentioned, and you brought up a great point. You got your brothers, right? So, and do you guys divide up the work in any certain way? Was one of you better at the numbers or the other at the creative, or does that? I don't know. How do you guys divvy things up, or is it just kind of? I don't know. How does that work for you guys?
I mean, we have such a high level view of the entire business now, because we do have, we got over 30 full-time employees working with us now. High level management that's built some of the biggest brands in the world, and so we're learning every day too. So I don't think that we necessarily we kind of oversee. We sign off on all the products that we do, on all the new designs and colors. We're involved to that level, and then there are things. Yeah, Michael has a real interest in the legal side of the business, which has surprise. Hey, here's hundreds of thousands of dollars of legal bills. Right. The bigger you get, more money, more problems, right?
Oh my God.
He's good at that stuff. He's great at the business side. I like paying attention to the marketing and things we're doing there. I pay attention to customer reviews. Everyone that comes in, if we get a bad review, it's like it ruins my entire week.
I hate that.
That kind of thing. So yeah, we have a high level involvement in the business, but it's not doing the day-to-day stuff that we have a very capable and qualified team to do.
Wow.
Yeah, but keep in mind, bro, I mean, early on, it was us. It was just Brian and I. From the beginning, sourcing everything, doing all the work, just like any entrepreneur has to do.
Right.
You have to learn everything. You wear every single hat in that company, and which helps you learn on the fly to know everything about your business. But Brian and I always said early on, like, man, wouldn't it be incredible if we have this vision to build this thing up and take it where we know it can go, and we can kind of start hiring people and hiring executive staff that we trust and believe in and that have our vision, and we can kind of just step back and let the experts do their job and kind of get out of the way is what we need to do, and not micromanage, which we absolutely try not to do, and just let them kind of take our vision and just spread it, throughout the world and keep growing the company. And that's what we're doing.
And we never would have gotten as big as we are, as fast as we are, if we did not step back, if our egos were too big and we had to micromanage every aspect of the business. Our experience at some point, a lack of experience with certain elements of the business would have caught up with us. Sure. And that would have been bad. It would have slowed our growth. So that's definitely another lesson, that when you get to a certain level, it's okay to find qualified people that you trust and let go a little bit and let them do their thing, let their talent shine.
Sure. Wow. Love it. You guys are early days and yet have found such amazing success, and I'm excited for where you guys are going. I hope you'll come back on down the road and share more stories with us. Before we go though, please share with our audience how they can connect with you, where they can buy the product, how they connect with you guys on social and whatnot.
Oh, you can't find Michael on LinkedIn, apparently.
Right. I tried. I'm pretty good about researching people. I'm like, come on, I got to figure out Michael's story beforehand.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you can just find us and contact us through thecomfy.com. That's definitely the best way to do it. Thecomfy.com.
Thecomfy.com. That's easy. Guys, so great having you today. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Excited for you guys and look forward to having you back on down the road.
Thanks, Justin. We had a blast, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin. A lot of fun. Comfy on.
The ContenderCast is sponsored by Henderson Shapiro Peck and powered by Contender Brands. You can download additional ContenderCast episodes directly via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartMedia, YouTube, and other preferred podcast platforms. If you would like to be a guest on the ContenderCast, connect with us at contendercast.com. This is Brian Benson reminding you that every winner started as a contender.